Okay. All right. So welcome to the referral challenge call for Monday, March 27th, 2017. I went over a little bit of review on the last call on Friday, so I'm not going to do it again today. But Chris, let's just start with you and get right into it, because obviously we've only got a few people on. Any questions, issues, concerns, and if not, just give us an update on where things are. You know the drill.
Yeah. So I have not had a chance to dig into the new material for this week yet. That's on my list for today is my primary focus. I have put surveys out and feelers out and talked to my clients about a charity, and we're still narrowing down the best charity to use at this point in time for us. So that's ongoing. We've got the tax day campaign done last week, ready to go. So that's where we are as of right now.
And Chris, how many do you have on your inactive list?
I don't know off the top of my head right now. I'd have to look that up.
All
right, good. But so the tax day campaign is, you've got it customized, you've got it queued up, it's ready to roll.
I've got it built out. I just have to tag those folks in that list to make sure it goes out.
Okay, great. All right, good. Okay, so in terms of the charity, are you choosing local or are you going national? What are you doing with your charity?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay as close as possible to what you've advised us, so I'm going with local.
Yeah, great. I think there's just so many advantages for going local. Obviously, national can work too. It just depends, but locals. And one of the things that I'm not sure if it's included in the Facebook noteworthy post, but if not, I'm going to add it. Is Joe Green did. He reached out to this is one of the beauties of having a local charity, is the partnership component of it. You can work more interactively with them. You'll get more support from them than you will from a national, because nationals are getting, so many people are behind them, big corporations and such. So it's like they don't have much time for the little guy. But locals, it's different. And to give you an example of that, Joe Green, with his charity, he said, I'd like to do some publicity. I'd like to get the word out about our partnership. And the charity was like, hey, here's our full contact list of all the local media. They gave him an entire spreadsheet with all the local media listed out, the names of their contact people, email addresses, the whole deal. He didn't have to do any of that research. And they also offered to introduce him to them in some capacity via email or something, as I recall. I'm pretty sure that was part of it as well. So that is a perfect example of the kind of help and support you can get from a local charity that you'd never get from a national charity. And I mean, that's incredibly valuable, an introduction to the local media, and at most, which is awesome, but at the very least, the whole contact list, so it saves you time and effort.
Yeah, nice.
So that's strong. All right, good. So I'm just looking at the list of things here. Okay, so you're working on the charity, you got the tax day lined up, and you haven't dug into this week's stuff yet, which is signage, Facebook check-in, Facebook one post a day, and the storytelling. All right, good. So once you get that charity locked down, you want to start those Facebook check-ins for sure, because that's a lot of folks it's been a big impact for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Facebook one post a day, was that like Alicia's program there?
No, not really. It's just a reminder on the things that you can be doing, how to be thinking about Facebook in terms of leveraging the various assets that you have on Facebook. Like, for instance, do you have a Facebook group that you use?
Yes.
You do. Okay. Is that client exclusive to clients?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, do you also have a Facebook business page, I would imagine?
Yep.
Okay. All right. When you post, do you post to your personal, your business, and your group, or how do you work your Facebook posts?
Yeah, so I don't do a ton on my personal, to be honest with you. I don't post a whole lot of personal stuff. My business page gets it gets a daily post, a daily inspirational, motivational fitness tip every single day.
Right.
And then there's a testimonial once per week. Every Wednesday is a testimonial that goes out showcasing client success. That's my business page. I don't do anything else with the business page. And then my internal Facebook group for my clients, they get, I follow Alicia's system there.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And her system's outstanding. We put her training inside of inside of our member site, her video training on that, because it's so good, and she's a friend of mine, so it's cool with her. So we will be leveraging that as we go forward with the partner component piece of this, because that's all. A lot of it has to do with building out a local community group. It's just so powerful. It's a powerful technique. But it sounds like you're doing a lot of the right things with your Facebook posts. So all we've done in that SOP, that one post a day, is just to remind you of best practices, give you some ideas for additional posts that you can use, and to ensure that it's done consistently, because it's just the consistency, frequency is really important.
Okay. Hey, Eric, can I chip in something here?
Yeah, please, Tony, go ahead.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things now, granted, everybody's personality is different. Everybody's style is a little bit different, but I would encourage people to do some more personal stuff if they don't already, because we are in a relationship business. We're in a business where people do business with people that they like. So one of the things that I have found is that if I get enough people paying attention to my personal stuff, they're a lot more likely to do business with me. If I get people to kind of like the personality, the character, my beliefs and the things that I can convey there, then they will interact with our business page more. So the key is it has to be something that matches you and matches your personality, and also matches with the type of things that you're comfortable sharing. So, you don't need to post all your trouble or your problems or struggles or whatever. But some people are very good at that. Some people are very good at being open and honest. And man, here's something that's really crushing me right now, and who can relate? And they can communicate that in a way that brings more people closer to them. Because we've always been taught, people will do business with you if they know you, like you, trust you. And so there is some value to opening up and sharing some of that personal stuff as well, and then leading that to people wanting to do business with you.
Yeah, Tony, to your point, it's a big one. It's a big, valid point, and it can be overdone, especially during times of grief. We've got a local trainer here who lost a son, and for the last year it's been nothing but that. Right. And his anger comes out, and his profanity comes out, and it's out without question. It's had a negative impact as far as I can tell.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the worst thing you can do on Facebook is whine. I think, and I don't mean that I do mean it in exactly as it sounds. And that, to me, it's so sad and terribly unfortunate what happened to him, but the way it's all about the way that you communicate. And so I agree with what Tony said. You can absolutely talk about issues that you're dealing with. It's just how you position it. But to your larger point about posting personally, that's something that we recommend too in the one post a day. In fact, I think that, I don't know, Facebook is tricky. It's hard to understand exactly what's going on there, but it seems like business pages get very little reach. When you post something on your business page, it might reach 10-20% of your people that have friended or liked your business page. Whereas on your personal page, it seems like you get greater reach, particularly if you're posting on a frequent basis and you're getting a lot of interaction with your stuff. That's just my impression. And so with the personal page, we recommend, Chris, that you do just what Tony was talking about, which is to post your personal page. But first of all, is to like or friend your clients on there, so that they're in your feed. Now, that's completely up to you. I'm not saying you have to do it. You do what you feel comfortable doing. I know some people don't like that idea. Personally, it didn't appeal to me, but I've been doing it anyway. I don't post nearly enough, but I'm friends with a bunch of fitness professionals. In fact, that's the majority of the people that I'm friends with. And so you ought to look at it, I think. And if you watch Tony, are you friends with Tony on Facebook?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Tony's putting out great. The Dad's Life stuff is awesome. You do a lot of family-oriented stuff. It's beautiful. The pictures of the dogs. Everybody checks that out because his dogs are huge. They're massive. They should be in a circus. And so there's a lot of cool stuff that he does that's engaging, and you know, you feel like, hey, I know this guy and I like him.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check out what he's posting. I am friends with all of my clients. That is one of the first things that we do.
Oh,
I just never really post personally very much.
Yeah.
The other side of that too, though, is if you don't enjoy posting your own stuff as much, just interact more with your clients, comment on their things, you know, offer them encouragement, or, you know, high five them. And so maybe you don't share a lot of your own stuff, but you are still involved in that community from a personal standpoint. So
Right.
just by getting, you know, entering the conversations in people's minds, offering tips, you know, because people are always asking, oh man, I'm really wanting to lose weight before the summer. What should you do? And you'll have, I mean, their neighbors, their aunt, everybody will be telling them what to do. And some of the stuff is just, you know, unbelievable, but you know, they'll take advice from anybody. So as somebody who actually knows some things that can help them, you know, you can give good information without soliciting in the comments, and they'll, you know, it'll draw them closer to you. It'll keep the conversation going. And I've learned, you know, don't ever be afraid to give away a bunch of information, because the thought's always, man, if you'll tell me this much stuff for free, how much more will I learn if I'm paying?
Yeah. That's good stuff. The trick is the management of your time, and you're not getting sucked in, having a clear mission when you get on Facebook and sticking to that, and not being, oh, that's a cool video. Because that's what happens to me. I mean, I'm something, I'm like, oh, let me watch that. And
then 2 hours later, you're still there watching this cat. You know?
Right. Because cats are fascinating, man. I'm not a cat guy, but boy, I can watch them. They're cool. Yeah. Hey, Rick, I'd like to get your input on it. We're talking about Facebook posting and what's your strategy for that? What's your process?
Well, first of all, I'm posting every day in my local groups. I've got obviously my group for my facility. I created a community group that's just free information. And we post 1, 2, sometimes 2 times a day. And there's sometimes if I have something else to say a third time, just because that's what these people want is content. Doesn't mean they're going to sign up tomorrow because I posted something great. But eventually when the time comes for them to flip that switch, they're going to. I do a lot, and I get a lot more engagement, though, on my personal page than I do on my business pages. So I friend everybody, the trainers I'm working with, my clients in my facility, because they like to know who we are. You know, and a lot of trainers kind of hide who they really are. I want them to know who I am, because if they're not going to like me as a person, they're probably not going to like me as a trainer either, because there's so much of a, you know, personal relationship involved with personal training. One of my mantras is always when I'm talking to trainers is, hey, it's called personal training. Let's keep it personal. And, you know, that's why I tend to do other things too, which I'm sure we'll talk about, you know, like I don't automate my whole system. I want to talk to people on the phone. I want to talk to them in person, because I know that's where I do my best job. So it'd be it would be silly for me to try to get people to engage just on Facebook without leading to a conversation on a phone or in person. That works better on your personal page, because let's face it, people are not going to be sold. They're going for social time. And that's where they're going to look first.
Yeah, no doubt. And one of the things that I like particularly about what you do, Rick, is that you do a lot of very subtle value statement. You know, you show and share your values through the little stories that you tell. You know, like the one that you did about the note that you put on the person's car.
Right.
Yeah, that somebody was parked in Rick's parking lot. Can you just tell the story real quick? I think that's great.
Yeah, we have this thing here where I live at Lake of the Ozarks. They have they're called pub crawls, where they go several times a year, and people in this area, they just go out and they get hammered, drunk. Well, our lot is kind of down out of the way because we're like second level of a building. And one morning I come and there was a car parked in our lot. Well, it was easy for me to figure out that they parked there because they were going to be out drinking all night and they didn't want to drive. So I sat down, I typed up a little letter basically telling them that I applaud their decision for not driving. I am not upset about the fact that they parked here. In fact, anytime they're going to drink and drive, I encourage them to park here. And it gave them for 33 days of training at my facility as a reward for being a responsible citizen.
Awesome.
It went nuts. Well, everybody, and what works so well about it is I'm very candid, very open. I mean, probably over the top transparent with people about things that I don't like. So people thought when they started reading that there was going to be a rant involved. Oh my God, this person parked in Rick's lot. And I used it to my advantage to say, no, congratulations. I applaud you. You're looking after other citizens and yourself.
Yeah, and I want to recognize you and reward you for that behavior. And it was really beautifully done. And that's what I mean. But it's a cool little story that shows what type of person you are and the values that are important to you. And that's good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let me jump into Rick's comment that people want content. My philosophy is they want emotion.
Yes, I agree.
If you can wrap content in it, now you've got gold. So sort of you're going back to your story of posting your sticky note on their car, you provided an emotional support, right? And my phrase is this, you'll hear it ad nauseum because I want it drilled into everybody's heart, is that your only strategy for success is emotion, right? Because that's all we are. We're emotional beings. We try to claim we're intellectual beings, but the truth of the matter is we're emotional beings. And nothing works better to strike an emotion than support wrapped in a story, right? And so that's why your post went ballistic, why people started coming out of the woodwork supporting it. And so emotional support is the only strategy for success. If you can wrap content in it, now you've got real value.
Yeah. That's right. It's good stuff, and that's the thing about that. Your story, the story about the person parking in your lot, is that there is a lot of emotion tied to that. I mean, in so many ways, and it's also just an interesting, compelling story. It's good stuff, and so content can be anything really. But I agree that if you were to just put up a post that says, "Hey, here's 6 ways to do a pull-up," versus, "Hey, here's how this 73-year-old woman learned to do 2 pull-ups," the woman's story is going to get a whole lot more interaction than just the basic content story. So I know what you mean when you said content, Rick. You're just talking about any type of content.
Right.
I
agree with Aaron. I mean, the content usually comes out with, here's what happened, here's how we solve it type thing. Attacking their pain first and then providing the solution. So I understand exactly what Aaron was saying.
Yeah, great. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a quick question about posting on the personal Facebook page as well. And maybe Tony can jump in on this as well, because I'm looking at his Facebook page, and on his personal page, he's posting a lot about his business, if you will. It appears that way. So I think there's a fear factor for me, because I've heard a lot of stories about people's personal Facebook pages getting shut down because Facebook saw it as though they were marketing their business on their personal Facebook page. Have you guys heard about this or had any experience with that?
That's a new one on me, Chris. I have not heard that. Tony, how about you?
I've not heard anything about that, but one of the things that I try to do is, with everything that I market, I also try to deliver some value in that. So I try to make sure that there's something in there that the person will benefit from, even if they don't ever buy something from me or they don't buy something right then. So I'm not just getting on there and saying, hey, come buy training, or hey, come check out our gym. I usually try to tell some things or some principles or some things that they can apply on their own. And at the end, hey, if you need help making that happen, if you need help being accountable, if you need help getting started, let me know. But yeah, I've not. Sorry, got blocked there. I've not heard anything specific about personal pages being shut down if you're posting things about your business as well. But I'll definitely go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. What I tend to do with those is I'll tell stories about things that went on in the gym, conversations about that happened in the gym, not directly doing a hard sales pitch. Once I go to run a transformation challenge, I will mention it on my page, but I'm usually tying my stories into something that's gone on in my facility. Okay. And people can relate back to that. So I've got it interwoven into the social side of social media, so to speak. It's more of a soft pitch because I'm not coming at them and say, hey, come see me. At the end, sometimes I will give a soft sale that, hey, if you have any questions, reach out to me and I'll put my phone number. But I kind of leave it like that most of the time instead of directly going at them, because people don't go on social media to be sold. And so I'm trying to be real careful about that.
Yeah, and I think the way you just described it is perfect, because you use the word story repeatedly, and that's really what it comes down to. And that's why we're, Aaron created the storytelling training, and why we're talking about storytelling so much. The distinction is you can sell better with a story, and a story is veiled salesmanship, really. I mean, so you can do what you ultimately want to do more effectively, and also with less it's not perceived as something obnoxious, an obnoxious promotion. To your question, Chris, about, I have not specifically heard of people who've had their page shut down, but I've heard about it in general. And I think that the things that occurred for that to happen were people making these blatant posts, like ads, basically in their personal page, and then the folks who they were friends with were clicking that button saying dislike, or this is not appropriate, or something like that. They were complaining about the posts being made. So if you've got relationship, and these are people that really do know you, and your clients, of course they do, and you're telling good stories, that kind of stuff won't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, to Rick's point, I think that if you're adding value to your post and it doesn't come across as a blatant pitch, I don't think there's any recourse for Facebook to pull your stuff. But let me tell you something, Facebook, they are constantly yanking people's stuff off the don't cross some certain lines, like lines of politics or religion, and you'll probably be all right.
Yeah, I definitely would stay away from those things. But another good personal page that you should take a look at, Chris, and everybody, is Greg Justice's, because he is constantly posting stuff that says in the headline, usually, for my personal trainer friends. And it's not blatant promotion, but it is promotion to some degree, if at the very least of his personal philosophies and values, and then oftentimes about different things that he's doing, books that he's got out, and things like that. So he does a lot, but in a very good storytelling format.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, we can't see you, but I wanted to check in with you and see if there's any questions you have or issues that you're run up against that you'd like help with. Eric?
He is muted.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe he's got himself muted. I'll try it. Let me unmute him for a second. Eric, I just unmuted you. Do you have anything you want to add or questions you want to ask? All right.
He may not be there.
Yeah, he might be busy with somebody. Okay. All right. Yeah, Greg does an awesome job. Yeah, I agree. So that's good stuff on the Facebook strategy. But again, I think it's just we got to be careful about not getting sucked in. It's a time management issue because there's so much else that needs to be done, and it is easy. The other thing is, and this is something Aaron and I have to get to. I've posted a few things in my personal feed. When we launched the referral challenge the first time and the second time, I put up videos in my personal feed. The first video I put up 2 the first time, and they both got a lot of views, a lot of interaction. The second one wasn't as strong that time around. Still got a decent number, I would say, for not being promoted. It was 500-600 views or something. But the first one did real well. And anyway, the point is that what I want to do going forward is post content like that to my personal feed, and then if it gets any type of traction at all, I'm going to boost it. I'm going to pay to boost the post and just see what happens, getting additional views and things like that. I think there's a lot that can be done on that front without getting too in the weeds on the whole advertising.
That actually works very effectively. My last transformation challenge, that's exactly what I did, and it outperformed my business page. I took the same content that I was running an ad for my business page, except tweaked it a little bit, put it on my personal page. All of a sudden, it got like 100 likes right away and a lot of comments. So I went ahead and boosted it. And I would have to say it probably carried filling up my challenge better than the other ads.
Wow. Yeah.
So that is something to think about. Thank you. Sorry about the reasonable. I'll watch it.
Yeah. All right.
So, I'm sorry, Eric. Let me follow up with Rick there. So you're actually boosting your post in your private page. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so when you do that, then how are you doing? Did you have to set up a new account for your private page? Are you just doing that off of your business account? How did you do that part of that?
I'd have to go back and look at exactly how I did it, but I had it tied to my personal page somehow. I'll have to go back and walk through the steps, and I'll do a Camtasia video to show everybody how I did it.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because that does. I didn't even think about that, Aaron, but that is interesting. I'm not sure. Well, clearly there's a way, but we just have to figure out what it is. But anyway, here's the other thing: is that you can test content. At the very least, test content in your personal page. If stuff is getting a lot of engagement, then maybe you move it. If you can boost it, and clearly you can, but the other option is to put it on your business page and sell it or run an ad around it there too. I don't know.
Well, now that I think about it, I think that might have been how I actually did it, Aaron. The content was really going good, so I took it, put it on my business page, and boosted it. I believe I'll go back and find it and everything, and I'll do a Camtasia presentation on it and put it in here, though, exactly how I did it.
Yeah, that would be awesome, Rick. That would be awesome because now after I mentioned, I'm just not sure how it works, but. Anyway, a lot of cool things you can do. Rick, I know Chris mentioned he's got a Facebook. Well, you said too, you've got a Facebook group for your clients that you use.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you follow Alicia's strategy for that?
Yes, I do. I set that up well in advance. I actually use some of her content. I use some of the content that Justin Yule and Pat put out.
Yeah.
And then I'm always going in there at least 3 times a week myself and doing something with my personal flair to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I've got like posts set up in the morning, posts set up to go out automatically in the afternoon. And then sometime, at least 3 times a week, I'm going to go in and just throw something in there that I was thinking about that could be a benefit to people.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm hitting them quite a bit. I really am.
Rick, so are you using your Facebook posts mostly as your blog platform then, or do you have a separate blog as well?
I'm using that as my blog platform because I have learned, at least in my area, that tends to be people's blog. They'd rather go there than onto a blog.
Right.
In my community, it seems that way.
Yeah, I would. The only thing that I would say to that is that I agree with you that Facebook is the first place to go with this stuff. But I would, one of the principles that we teach, and I think it's just so valuable, is repurposing assets. And if you put something on Facebook, it just makes sense to go ahead and copy that and basically, boom, just dump it right into a blog post, get it up there, because it gets organic reach. It helps build the authority of your website. It's not going to do much, immediately, but over time, that stuff really can help you quite a bit.
Moreover, Rick, you might want to play with the concept of just doing a teaser post in your Facebook page to drive them to the blog, right?
Right.
Well, you know how Facebook is. We opened up this segment with it. You get caught up with the cat videos. And
right.
if you get them off that platform over onto your blog, then, you got at least a little less distraction potential.
Yeah, it's a good thought. The other thing is anything that works on Facebook could also be turned into an email broadcast. If it's real good, you could make a video out of it. I mean, there's so many ways to repurpose that content, that intellectual property that you created. Yeah. All right. Listen, Rick, any issues with you? Any concerns, questions, anything we can help you with directly?
Well, honestly, this week I haven't had a chance to dig into the new SOPs because Friday I was out of town all weekend with my daughter and her dance competition. Just got back today. That's why I got somebody else in there training my clients so I can be on today to see if there's anything I missed. So I plan on digging into the new SOPs today. Everything from last week is up and good. Matter of fact, sometime this week we're sitting down talking with with the charity we chose. Hopefully they're willing to reciprocate and work both ways. If not, we've got 3 or 4 other ones we can go to, because I want to make sure that they're going to promote us just like we're going to promote them. If it's a one-sided street, I'm not quite interested in them.
Yeah, and I think that's great that you should have that expectation going in, but I think just like with any negotiation, because really that's what it comes down to.
Massage the relationship and the conversation.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. So, by the way, I saw the video of your daughter, and that was awesome. And another great idea, great relationship building post. Anytime you talk about your family and your kids and your dogs, things like that. But that was really cool. So she ended up, they placed?
Yeah, her solo, which that one, I tended to be the moron, and I had it on photo instead of video, so I didn't get that video. She was second place, Elite High Gold. Their duo, they were Elite High Gold and finished second, and then their group finished fourth. So they had a good weekend. They really, truly did.
Yeah, it looked good. I saw the group one. That was cool. All right, so then Tony, if you've got anything else, jump in. If not, no worries. Eric, same with you. We haven't heard from you. If you've got any questions, issues you want to discuss, now's the time.
Is there anything I should concentrate on first this week with the new SOPs? Which direction would you want me sending my admin?
Yeah, I mean, I get it on the Facebook check-ins. If you're not doing that yet, that's the thing to do, because you're doing so much on Facebook already. That would just enhance your exposure there. The signage SOP is an ongoing process. Just review that and then delegate to your admin. The one post a day is what we were just talking about, so you're squared away there. And then there's the storytelling training. You're a good natural storyteller already, but I think that you get a lot of benefit too reviewing.
Yeah, I was starting to watch that a little bit. That obviously that's the kind of stuff that always excites me.
Yeah, no doubt. It's good stuff. Tony, you got anything?
Main thing for me right now is we're working on a pretty big overhaul and some things and how we do stuff. And one of the great things about this group, I've gotten some great feedback already from other business owners, but we're really looking at adding a more focused effort toward semi-private sessions. We've always offered it, we've just never really promoted it. So in going through some different things, we've learned that our current system, even though there's a lot of things we do really well, there's some broken parts of it. And so I guess the very valuable lesson to this is don't get too attached to how you do something, and too afraid to change it if it's not meeting your ultimate goals and the outcomes that you need. So I'll keep you guys posted as we go through this process, but we're working on some pretty significant changes in order to hit the outcomes that we need.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
Self-reflection sometimes tough and it's scary, and but it's also exciting at the same time.
Yeah, and because of your background, it's all about adapting, improvising, and overcoming.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, very good. I saw that post that you made. I'm glad you got some good feedback that was helpful. And yeah. All right, good. Well, thank you for that. Chris, anything else that you want to talk about we can help you with before we wrap this up?
I think I had one question on the tax day campaign. If we, as we bring people in on that, do we start them right away, like literally the next day on that, the next business day on that, or are we waiting until the first of the new month to get started in their trial, in their month?
Aaron, you want to take that?
Well, so, that really depends a lot on your business system, how you have everything set up. For me, if you can, you strike while the iron's hot, right? You get them active right now. When Iron Tribe opened up for the first 6.5 years of their business, if you got started once a month, right? And because they had their 101 program, their 30-day on-ramp program. And so you were waiting, literally up to a month, depending on what time you came into the funnel, before you could even get started. That probably cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of these 7 years. They've changed it now, but if you're asking me, we get them going as quickly as your system, your method of training will allow.
Can I interject something there?
Yeah.
Please.
I used to be the same situation that Aaron used to talk about. We do our 6-week challenges. There was really no way to come into our funnel until the next 6-week challenge started. Well, I saw that a problem. So what I did is I took that same 6-week challenge and I repurposed it and called it a 6-week test drive, to where now people didn't have to wait. It didn't take away from my challenge. It's the exact same program. It's just, you sign up today, we're getting you started tomorrow instead of waiting for the group to start. So that might be something to think about.
How's it worked out, Rhett?
Wonderfully. This week I've got 5 people starting that I signed up just last Wednesday and Thursday prior to going out of town.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, it's literally the same program, same agreement and everything. I just repurposed agreement to call it a 6-week test drive, and it didn't limit me to wait until I get my 25, 30 people all starting together. Because like you said, the iron's hot. Let's get them going. We want to keep that energy up there and keep them excited about it. Don't give them a chance to let it cool down. So I come up with that, and it's worked wonderfully. Now, am I getting 30, 40 people a month? No. But if I'm getting 5 or 10 people that I would have lost because they got tired of waiting for my next 6-week challenge to start, it's worth it. It pays off.
Yeah, and so my question, the follow-up for that is have you noticed at all any kind of an increase of conversion from the 6-week challenge to a full-time member because they were able to get started faster? Yeah,
it's the exact same conversion system, the whole 9 yards. My conversion rate's still staying about 72% with that. Same thing it is on my challenges.
Nice.
Because the whole process is exactly the same. How we present it, how we set up our conversions and all that, moving them into our long-term programs. Nothing changed except the name of the program.
Interesting. So I love the idea, Rick. I think that people need to be testing that personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want, I can include my 2 agreements, and you'll see they're pretty much identical. The only difference is the one is a 6-week challenge starting as a group. The other one starts them right away.
Yeah, that's great. That's great stuff. Chris, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can start people immediately. I don't have to wait. So I just wanted to get clear on that.
Yeah. All right, good. Yeah, want to get them going when they're in heat for sure.
Can we go back to Rick for a moment? He's got my brain going in 5 directions all of a sudden. So, Rick, I mean, when you had your 6-week challenges before, you obviously had some kind of announcement coming up. You had time to build the message and create anticipation. What do you do now for that in terms of?
For my 6-week challenges, they pretty much run the same way. The difference is I have the 6-week test drive on an evergreen ad that's continually going. Whereas the challenges, it's more like, I set it up more like, okay, here's the next event. Does that make sense? And then what I do is I'm taking the people who responded to my 6-week challenge, filled out a form and everything, didn't go forward, and we take those, we load them, we do some retargeting for the test drive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. I'm not completely clear on the difference between your event and your 6-week evergreen.
Okay, the Transformation Challenge event, we'll do them like 6 a year. There's a 6-week Transformation Challenge. We make a big thing. We promote it that it's open for the first 20 people, then we shut it down. We'll end up opening it and take like 25, 30 typically. So we make it a time deadline type thing that, okay, we're starting on this date. You have until here to sign up. Then we do our orientation in a group setting and everything, and they're going. So there's a group of people doing it all together. The 6-week test drive, which I'm running the evergreen Facebook ad, is from the physical part, it's the exact same thing as the Transformation Challenge. We'll bring them into the program the exact same way. There's nothing different. They're still getting the 6 weeks. If they still lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, I send them on my trip to Las Vegas. Everything's the same, except they don't have to wait for the next group challenge to start. They can start tomorrow.
Okay, but are they involved then in the same kind of a group? Do they?
Yes, they are. Yes, we basically integrate everybody in our challenges with my current long-term clients. We just integrated into one program. It's not a program over here, a program over there. It's all together. So I've got, say, for example, 100 personal training clients. Okay, we do our 6-week challenge. We integrate those people in with our current clients. Actually, we'll pair them up with clients that are a little bit further ahead, so it helps them reduce their learning curve, et cetera. It creates that buddy system, starts creating, that support system right away. Same thing with somebody in the test drive. We're going to do it the exact same way. It doesn't change the way our actual physical training program works. All it changes is it gives the person the opportunity to get started now instead of when our next challenge starts.
It's beautiful, and the strategy is analogous to what we're doing in the referral challenge. You've got that evergreen promotion basically running all the time, and then you do these campaigns around your transformation challenge. So it's just like the SOPs and the campaigns we've got here. It makes complete sense, and then everybody gets lumped in together. But you know the distinction because you know who's doing what. Right.
Because of when they start and how we do our follow-up, our whole process of, when we're sending them an email or check on them, when we're, calling phone call, because we have our whole workflow that the day they start is when that workflow starts, so we don't miss anybody. Yeah. Whereas obviously that workflow, if you got 20 people started, you're going to be doing like 20 phone calls on one day to check in with them. In this case, this person on our workflow is probably showing up on the calendar by themselves. However, we're not missing them.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I'd be happy to go over it sometime more with you if you want, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, you got my mind on fire, Rick. I ain't gonna lie. Smart.
Yeah, it is. Let me ask you something about that, Rick. You mentioned the 20, they lose 20 pounds, you send them to Vegas. Can you elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yeah. I've been doing that for about 5 years now. I have a situation I worked out with this marketing company, and it's actually now 20 different destinations they can choose from, but Vegas is the sexy one, so it draws people. So yeah, this way, like a lot of people's challenges, they lose X amount of if they're the winner, they win a prize, but they're competing against everybody else. Well, that creates an unfair challenge, okay, for some people. Okay, so I set it up to where they're only really competing against themselves. You lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, and instead of it being free like Sam does and Justin Ewell and everybody, I send you on a weekend trip to Las Vegas. And I worked out a deal with this marketing company where I'm getting vouchers for my clients that they lose 20 pounds. We make a big deal. We announce it their next session they're in, award them with the voucher, and they go on a weekend trip for Vegas. Basically, the trips are costing me about $79.
Yeah, yeah.
So even when somebody wins, I'm not losing. Because one thing, they're going to stay with me long term. They just lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks, and I'm sending them on a trip. They're staying long term. My average client stays with me 22 months. So to give them a trip to Vegas, for lodging, it's a no-brainer to me.
Right, right.
And if anybody's ever interested in that, I can give my contact person's name, because he has actually – when we did my NPS implementation course, I worked a thing out with them where if people bought, like, for example, bought 10 of them, he gave them 10 free. So it ended up being closer to $40 a trip. And to give you an idea, last year I gave away about 175 trips. The year before, just under 250 trips. Well, my whole goal is to get people giving out these trips, because that means more people talking about me.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
And it's a different twist on the way Sam does his.
Right. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And so people, it's clearly something valuable. I mean, obviously, the perception of value is very high, but the reality is they're enjoying the trip too. It's a good value thing. Yeah.
I've used several of the trips myself and never had an issue.
Wow.
And I keep all the trips in the continental USA just to be safe. Because once you get outside continental USA, there's no telling what could happen, and we don't have much control of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we've been to Myrtle Beach. I've been to Vegas. I've been down to Branson, even though it's just an hour and a half away. Where else have I gone to? I mean, pardon me? I'm going back to Orlando, yeah. I mean, so, there's 20 different destinations. I mean, I pull out of my desk here. I've got probably over 250 of these trip vouchers, because I know I will use them.
Yeah, yeah. We should definitely talk more about that, because I think that's an awesome idea. And it's funny. It reminds me of something that I was involved in about 15 years ago. That used to be a big deal, those travel vouchers. And a lot of people marketed around them, but I haven't seen them in years. And it's neat that you bring it back up. So I definitely want to talk to you about that. And another thing, when you're in Orlando, hit me up. Let me know if you've got time. We'll get together and go to lunch. We'll have you over to the house or something.
I will be down there. Well, here in April, I won't have much time on a weekend with my daughter. But then the first week of June, I'll be down there the entire week, because she's actually performing at Disney World.
Awesome. Definitely. Let me know, Rick, and we'll get together. Camelia and I will come down. We'll have some lunch or something. Yeah,
because I'm also meeting up with Pat down there, Rigsby, and Alicia. So we might just all have to make it a thing, get together.
Yeah, no doubt. Are you coming in April for Pat's thing?
Yeah, he talked to me about that, so I'll be there then too.
I'll see you there. I'm going to be at that too. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up then.
I do have one question, though, about the tax day event, which I pretty much have it all set up for my gym. I'm thinking about doing it with NPS, with all of the leads I ended up that, opted into my lead magnet but never purchased. I'm wondering if that would be a good thing to try for fitness professionals as well.
Without a doubt. You give them, it's all just based on scarcity and it's based on urgency. you have a very specific deadline to take advantage, and you can just say, hey, I'm reopening this for 1 day only. That's it. This is your chance to get it, and maybe you plus it with some bonus or something.
I'll throw in all the content from the implementation course or something.
Yeah, something like that. But I assure you, you will get a pop. You do that. Yeah.
Because I thought about doing that at the same time too, but I didn't want to start moving forward on that until I got Aaron and your opinion on that one.
Yeah, Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Look, the real psychology behind the tax day campaign is the natural built-in urgency. Nobody's thinking that you're making it up. Everybody understands the national holiday, so you've got that 8-hour window, right? And then you do basically a mini launch of announcements. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, right? And it's at a reduced rate, and the psychology behind it, the emotion behind it is the driver, right? That is, I'm going to get a one-time 8-hour opportunity, and the real science or the real art behind this launch is not the copy I've provided. It's the constant and perpetual reminder that here this comes, and you're going to get it at a rate you can't get it any other time. So it could be applicable to any product, any service, and it's a universal strategy, if that's the word you want to use.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the way I took it, but I thought I better run that idea by the two of you first, because I mean, like I said, I've built up a pretty substantial list now that I could send something like that out just to get them back into my funnel for Nutrition Profit System.
Yeah, you should do it. One caveat is that I'd be careful about it, cutting the price. In this case, I would plus the product rather than cut the price, and because what you don't want to do is piss off people who've already bought from you. They don't necessarily have to know about it, but just from your values positioning, I'd be careful about it.
I might want to get on the phone with one of you and talk that one through.
Yeah, but it's easy if you want to plus it, just pull one nice bonus, add it on, say, hey, this is a chance to get this plus the bonus one time. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Chris, anything else, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
All right, very good. Tony, thank you very much for your contribution, for being on the call today. And all of you, Rick, Chris, both of you, thank you very much. We appreciate Eric. We missed you, but that's it then, guys. Thank you and have a great day, and we'll see you on Facebook.
Thanks a lot.
See you guys.